A couple of teams who pulled off very narrow victories yesterday. Syracuse beat UConn by 3. Texas A&M defeated Gonzaga by 1. It'll be the Orange and the Aggies for the championship here today. A look back at some of the highlights from the semifinals. Freshman Tyler Lydon has been outstanding for the Orange over the last couple of days. One of 5 Syracuse players in double figures yesterday. Michael Benajay, 17 points, 7 assists, 6 steals yesterday. Tyler Roberson with a dunk, some big rebounds, a huge block late, and the Orange advance for the Aggies. Daniel House for the second game in a row, leading Texas A&M with 19 points. And Tony Trocha-Morelos made all 4 of his threes, had 14 points in the game. A&M beats Gonzaga by 1. In the just completed third place game, it was Gonzaga surviving, holding off UConn, winning by 3. We've got the Aggies and the Orange for the championship here on Paradise Island. Hi, everybody, and welcome again to the Bahamas. Dan Schulman and Jay Billis, glad you're with us one more time. When you think Syracuse, you think about the zone and how other teams shoot the 3 against them. But here, so far this year, it's been how Syracuse is shooting the 3.
Syracuse is really fun to watch. They've got 4 different guys that can make shots, so they can really spread the floor. You know about Michael Benajay and Trevor Cooney, but Malachi Richardson can knock down threes, as can Tyler Lydon. This is a really good team, and you can't let them get out in transition. You turn the ball over, they turn them into threes on the other end. They are excellent in transition.
Texas A&M also has some very good three-point shooters and a very good all-round talent in Daniel House.
Yeah, Texas A&M is 7th in the country in three-point shooting at 45%, and Daniel House, an all-SEC performer, is an excellent shooter. He can put the ball on the deck. He's got outstanding range. He's a great athlete, so he can rise up above. It's not just catch and shoot. He can put it on the floor. But it can't just be him. Texas A&M has really good big guys. They got to let the big guys touch it and then kick it out for those open shots.
Moments ago, our Andy Katz had a chance to speak with A&M head coach Billy Kennedy.
All right, Billy, you've had about 24 hours to digest the Syracuse zone. What's the best way for Texas A&M to attack it?
Not turn it over and get the ball inside. We want to get paint touches and go inside out against this zone and then really crash the glass.
In the matchup at the point, you're going to have Anthony Collins against Michael Benajay, 2 experienced players. What can Collins do to disrupt Benajay?
You know, we're hoping to pressure him some, but, I mean, he's been consistently good. We'll rotate different guys on him. We may put somebody with a little more size on him because he's got good size.
Thanks, Billy.
All right, you're welcome.
Let's check out the starting lineups right now, brought to you by Atlantis Paradise Island, Bahamas. Alex Caruso, a little bit of everything. Steals and assists for A&M in the backcourt along with Anthony Collins. You've heard about House. Trocha-Morelos can play inside and outside. And Tyler Davis, another one of the many very impressive freshmen that we have seen in this field here in the Bahamas. Benajay and Trevor Cooney, a couple of fifth-year seniors in the backcourt. Malachi Richardson can shoot the 3. Roberson, a jumping jack for the Orange. And Dajuan Coleman back from the knee injury that cost him about a year and a half, giving Syracuse about 20 minutes per game. Tyler Lydon will come off the bench, and if the last 2 games are any indication, he will be a force for Syracuse. Inside the Imperial Ballroom, which has been converted into the Imperial Arena this week, we are ready for the championship game. And underway, Mike Stewart, Michael Stevens, Doug Sermons are officials in Syracuse with the opening possession.
Alex Caruso guarding Michael Benajay. There's the size that Billy Kennedy was talking about.
Benajay not waiting long. 26 in game 1, 17 in game 2, and an early 3 here today.
Caruso helped off on a drive just a bit, and then he was a little bit slow recovering. Benajay does not need much time. He has shot it extraordinarily well all season long, but especially in this tournament.
And the Orange, of course, in the 2-3 zone that they're always in is Davis. It's saved somehow. Collins finds Caruso. Shot clock a factor. Davis from the baseline. House with a rebound and a sweet putback.
Well, not the prettiest offensive possession, but the offensive glass has got to be a source of points for Texas A&M, and that's where Tyler Roberson and Dajuan Coleman are going to come in if they can get some defensive boards.
Cooney turns it over, and Benajay gives the foul on Caruso to prevent an easy layup.
Smart play by Michael Benajay. That saved a layup. Tyler Davis putting that ball up, just barely grazed the rim. And Daniel House coming in from the wing in order to grab that rebound. Syracuse can be a little bit vulnerable on the glass, so you can get some second chance opportunities. Good pass.
Davis, good deep position, soft touch, but it's off the front of the rim, then tapped up onto the shot clock, so it'll go back over to Syracuse. Davis, a guy, a freshman, you had a chance to see him some in the summer, and you love what he brings.
Boy, he's got a big body, he's got great hands, and just knows how to play. Plays his tail off.
Coleman almost dragged that foot. Now Cooney off a screen. Roberson does not shoot the ball much. Air ball from the baseline. It'll stay with Syracuse. 13 on the shot clock.
You know, tough challenge for Anthony Collins, the point guard for Texas A&M. He's going to have to chase Trevor Cooney around, and Cooney runs all day. You want more size on Benajay. Then you've got a point guard he's used to guarding the ball, not used to guarding off the ball as often as he's going to have to in this one.
Benajay with a kick to Roberson. Shot clock at 5. Richardson, do they know it? Benajay does. And Trosha Morelos with a one-armed rebound for the Aggies.
Syracuse really extending in the zone.
Great look inside. Davis will finish, and he's fouled by Roberson.
Texas A&M took advantage of the fact that Syracuse was extended. Got the ball to the high post. Trosha Morelos immediately looked down low. And Roberson couldn't recover. Because Trosha Morelos can shoot the ball, Dajuan Coleman has got to go up and guard him. And that means you're going to have to rotate really quickly. Otherwise, you're going to be able to hit the baseline. So when Trosha Morelos gets the ball, his first look is shot. If that's taken away, then he wants to look baseline or opposite.
The freshman Davis averaging 13.5 points per game, 6.5 rebounds per game. The Aggies are 6-0. They beat Texas by 11 on Wednesday, and then as we mentioned, they beat Gonzaga by 1 yesterday. Syracuse is 5-0. They beat Charlotte by 13 and then UConn by 3 in this tournament. Richardson misses the 3.
Texas A&M doing a little bit of switching. House got away with a walk.
Caruso, who has led the SEC in assists each of the last 2 years, now playing more off the ball because of the arrival of that guy. Anthony Collins, a fifth-year senior, a transfer who has come into the program as a graduate student from South Florida.
He plays as low to the ground as any guard I can remember.
So Benajay hit the early 3, a 7-0 run for A&M since. Coleman down to Roberson off the rim, but it's going to be Syracuse ball. Caruso had not reestablished himself in bounds before he caught the ball. Cooney. Rebound Caruso. And House is running the floor, but could not get the layup, and now we got a foul going against A&M.
That was Davis reaching over the top. Well, that's an opportunity that Daniel House needs to finish. You're not going to get many of those open ones. You got to finish them when you can, but he's been terrific here in the Bahamas. Averaging 19 points a game, 2 19-point games in a row.
Benajay just such an improved player from where he was 3 years ago. The transfer from Duke in the last couple of years has been a huge performer for Syracuse in so many different ways.
Got Trosha Morelos on him after a switch.
Now into Roberson. Shot clock running down again. Cooney will have to launch it, and he'll bury it.
Well, you just let down for a second. You think you got Tyler Roberson stuck there, and he's able to kick it back out for a wide open shot.
Collins, look at that dribble. Trosha Morelos way long on the 3, tipped out of bounds. It belongs to A&M, although the Syracuse bench doesn't think so, and the officials will confer, and this could get overturned. Mike Stewart going and talking to Michael Stevens, and they will change the call and give it to the Orange. The Syracuse ball after that conversation, and a chance for the Orange to reclaim the lead.
Well, if Texas A&M switches some of these exchanges, Syracuse got to take advantage of it. There's a switch there.
Another three. This one no good for Benajay from the corner, but Syracuse retains possession, and we've arrived at our first media timeout of the ball game. A couple of threes for the Orange, but a 1-point early lead for the Aggies.
ESPN's exclusive presentation of college basketball is brought to you by Atlantis Paradise Island, Bahamas. Always amazing. Coke Zero, the official fan refreshment of NCAA basketball. And the Paradise Island Tourism Development Association. Experience Paradise.
First team All-SEC last year. Jalen Jones coming off the bench right now. Second team All-SEC last year. Alex Caruso led the league in assists and steals last year. They've got some nice freshmen as well. How good is this team?
I think Texas A&M is really good. I think the Aggies are going to be right there at the top of the SEC, just behind Kentucky and right there with Vanderbilt. I mean, there's not a team in America that this team cannot play with. Excellent passing team, 7th in the country in assist rate. An excellent shooting team, 7th in the country in three-point shooting. They have size, they've got depth, really good guards, and they can really defend.
Billy Kennedy is in his 5th year as head coach of the Aggies. He has not led them to the NCAA tournament yet, but he sure appears to have the kind of team that can get there this year.
Yeah, if everybody stays healthy, that's pretty much a done deal.
Cooney a force. Coleman has it. Up through traffic, no. Roberson the offensive rebound. Great work.
Roberson, one of the best offensive rebounders in the country, averaging about 5 offensive rebounds a game. But give credit to Dajuan Coleman keeping that alive. Coleman has not played significant minutes in a while because of injury. And he looks like he's continuing to knock rust off. Great pass.
Josha Morelos in the short corner off the side of the backboard, and here comes Cooney.
I don't want to just stay in the short corner and take that short little jumper.
Malachi Richardson off a screen, around and out. Coleman the offensive rebound. And Benajay is going to slow it down a little bit. Roberson kicks it back out. Tavario Miller into the game now for A&M, the number 42. As Davis has gone to the bench. Roberson from the free throw line knocks it down.
If Roberson can start hitting that shot, all of a sudden Syracuse becomes a much better offensive team. They've got to find some scoring in other places than just the three-point line. Good pass.
Miller underneath. Got it up on the glass, but couldn't get it in.
Texas A&M's getting some opportunities. They just have to make them.
Benajay right into the chest of Caruso. He's called for the offensive foul, and that is number 2 already on Michael Benajay.
Well, the first foul was that good foul he gave up in transition to take away a layup. This one, a terrific job by an excellent defender and Alex Caruso to keep moving his feet and stay in front and draw that charge.
Let's check in with Andy Katz.
Yeah, Dan, one of the reasons that Tyler Davis was not on the floor is in the back corner here in Imperial Arena. They were working on his back, stretching him all different ways, and the athletic trainer telling me he's got a little tightness in that low back, so they're going to monitor that throughout the course of the first half.
All right, Andy, thank you. So Davis on the bench as A&M turns it over. Syracuse is on a 7-0 run. Benajay is still in the game with 2 fouls. Jim Boeheim has gone to his bench for Tyler Lydon to take over for Dajuan Coleman in the middle of the zone. Lydon, a 6'8 freshman from Elizaville, New York. That's him, and that's what he can do. That's one of the things he can do.
Yeah, he can do just about everything. Tyler Lydon may be the best shooter on this team. Be a heck of a horse game between Richardson, Lydon, Cooney, and Benajay.
Lydon undersized to play in the middle of the zone, but they need another body in the middle, so he's doing that. And he's now 8 for 15 from three-point range on the season.
Now, if you can attack Benajay, you want to do it, but you can hide a little bit in the zone without picking up a foul. And Benajay just got to be smart.
Lydon commits the foul on Jalen Jones.
Just getting into the middle of that zone, which Collins was able to do. You know, that'll contract things. You'll have some opportunities. With Lydon helping up just a bit, if you don't rotate to get there, you've got that little pocket pass. And Jalen Jones, he can be really effective not only along the baseline, but flashing in the middle of the zone because he can make plays. He's super athletic.
Adamon Gilder, a freshman guard, checks into the game for A&M. Jalen Jones was suspended for the first 4 games of this season for playing in 2 scrimmages, close scrimmages, 2 years ago with SMU. And he was suspended for the first 4 games of this year. He just returned for the first game that A&M played in this tournament, as mentioned earlier. A second-team All-SEC performer a year ago.
Yeah, really odd rule, but now that he's back in play, he needs to knock some of the rust off himself. Texas A&M had to schedule extra games so they could get the 4 games in, and then he could play in the meaningful ones.
Cooney, no. And House back for the rebound.
That's one of the reasons, because of the schedule, and why those suspensions are kind of useless, because Texas A&M could just go out and schedule some more games.
So they had 4 home games, won them all heading into this tournament. Collins calling for a screen. Gilder with a shot fake, jumper from the baseline, and going the other way. It's a foul on Texas A&M. It's going to be on Jones.
Yeah, Jones just took Malachi Richardson and threw him aside. There are openings in this zone that you can take advantage of, but you got to move the ball.
Gilder giving up a lot of size in the matchup with Benajay as Cooney misses the 3. Another rebound for House, and he's pushing it. Bounce pass baseline, Jones with a finish.
Well, it's nice when you've got an athlete like Daniel House that grabs a rebound and he can take it himself. Daniel Hamilton can do that for UConn, but it is not often that you see that.
Glided in traffic. Back to the safety of Benajay, and he is fouled on his way to the rim. So we'll step aside, immediate timeout. Syracuse leading by 3 in the championship game here with the 2015 Battle for Atlantis. When we come back, we will reveal the field for next year's tournament here on Paradise.
St. John's and Old Dominion. It's a repeat performance for Louisville and VCU. They were here in the inaugural Battle for Atlantis. LSU, obviously, we don't expect to see Ben Simmons here a year from now, but Michigan State, an outstanding recruiting class, one of the best teams in the country this season. So Michigan State and Louisville headlining the field for the Battle for Atlantis next year, 2016. Back to you guys.
As people from East Lansing and other places now scrambling online to see if they can book flights down here and get a good rate a year in advance. It's worth it. It's a fun week. Here at the Atlantis Resort on Paradise Island. The game's right here in an arena, really a converted ballroom on the side of the resort. 14-10, Syracuse over Texas A&M. Daywan Coleman back into the game now for Syracuse.
As is Tyler Davis for Texas A&M.
Yep.
Jalen Jones, I think, can be really active in the middle of this zone. There he is.
Tipped out of bounds. It belongs to A&M. And House, who's got very deep range, will check out. And DJ Hogue, who's got equally deep range, will check in.
Maybe even deeper. DJ Hogue is just a freshman, but he's 6'8" long and shoots effortlessly from deep.
Coleman with a rejection on Jones. Jones the save. Gilder back to Hogue.
At Syracuse, their slides are so precise in this zone. They've got everything covered. This is not a passive defense at all.
Deep 3 from the corner for Gilder to bring A&M back within 1.
Gilder had a terrific opening game in this tournament against Texas and struggled a little bit against Gonzaga. But he is a dynamic offensive player and really good defensively. He's going to be terrific.
Benajay the drive. The pull-up off the glass too strong. Kept alive, and Leiden's got it. Couple of big bodies here. Coleman and Davis. Coleman wins.
Daywan Coleman can consistently make shots like that. Boy, what an asset he's going to be if he stays healthy. Davis was open.
Jones. And is fouled. The DirecTV Wooden Legacy, a part of Feast Week presented by Lowe's, continues tonight with Boise State taking on Michigan State, and then Providence and Arizona. Arizona surviving against Santa Clara in overtime last night. The championship is Sunday from Anaheim. Another rebound where Roberson just says, you know what, I can jump higher than you can.
What a rebounder he is. He goes after everything with two hands.
Great offensive rebounder, too. Just couldn't handle that pass. And here comes Davis, so look ahead to Gilder. The crossover. Whoa! And Gilder hits the deck hard. With Coleman, the held ball will keep it with Texas A&M.
I think Gilder's strong. He pulled Coleman right down to the floor. Neither one to let go of that ball.
Malachi Richardson back in for Roberson. Mopping up some of the perspiration on the court.
Got to watch DJ Hogue here. You have to think that Tyler Davis is going to pin in.
There's Hogue in the corner. Off to Jones. Floater. Got it. A&M back within one.
Really well run. Well, that's where Jones, he's got to operate there now because of the zone that Syracuse is playing. But I think even against man-to-man, that's his area.
Benajay to Leiden. Cooney guarded by Caruso. Soft touch. Again, as you've said on a couple of occasions in this tournament, this guy is not just a catch and shoot guy, even if that's his reputation. And a foul on the back committed by Coleman. That will be his second.
I don't know who else in America works harder to get a shot than Trevor Cooney does. Runs off of screens. He's a really active defender. Was able to make that even with some contact. Looked like Alex Caruso made contact on his arm as he was going up. That was a difficult shot and well defended. He can make hard shots. He's been taking them his whole career. He's had to. And this year he's got a lot more support from the perimeter.
Mid-range jumper again for Jones as Coleman and Benajay have both gone to the bench for Syracuse with 2 fouls. We get our first look today at Caleb Joseph, the sophomore guard who was a starter last year, comes off the bench this year.
My guess is that Benajay's not going to be out for long.
Leiden has it rejected.
He'll be out to the next media timeout just to give him a little bit of a break.
A&M looking for the lead. And Jones will give it to them.
Operating on the baseline, he's been very effective. Great pass by Caruso, one of the best passers in the country.
Jones now with 9, A&M back on top. Richardson gets inside, tried to dump it off to Roberson, stolen away by Caruso. And good hustle by Richardson to come back, and he throws it out of bounds off of Hogue.
Alex Caruso playing the point, which he played the last few years at Texas A&M. He was recruited more as a 2-guard, but Tyler Leiden was occupied with Tyler Davis down low, and that opened it up for Jones along the baseline. But Caruso led the Southeastern Conference in assists 2 years in a row. What a switch.
Cooney over Jones. Yes!
Cooney took the shot, but he took it in large measure because Tyler Leiden had inside position for an offensive rebound.
Jones sneaking around on that baseline again. Now comes into the middle of the zone, kicks it right back out to Hogue.
Top of the zone, awfully small with just Joseph and Cooney out there. So they have to be active, and Cooney, one of the best steals guys you'll ever see out of his own.
Nice look into Leiden. 12-footer was good.
Look at that touch. That's not an easy shot, that little short corner jumper.
Leiden with 2 terrific games coming into this one and off to a good start today. The Orange up by 4.
He's averaging 10 rebounds a game in the tournament. 16 points. He shot a great percentage.
Caruso short on the 3. Roberson ahead to Cooney. He's got Joseph, and it's out of bounds off Joseph. It'll be A&M ball when we come back. Jim Boeheim not happy, although his team is up by 4. Trevor Cooney doing what he's done so many times in his Syracuse career. Nailing a 3. And then part of the next wave of Syracuse stars, freshman Tyler Lydon with a baseline J. Forget, we've got a pair of key Big 12 matchups coming up at primetime tonight. Baylor and TCU college football presented by Jimmy John's. And then tomorrow night on ABC, Saturday night football presented by Walmart, Oklahoma and Oklahoma State. Bedlam. Dan Schulman, Jay Billis, Andy Katz. The Orange by 4. Benajay and Coleman both still on the bench with 2 fouls.
Got to get the ball into the middle, and then you can kick it out. There's a good bit of shooting in the game right now.
Troshel Morelos with a great feed into Jones.
Well, you let somebody touch it in the lane, Troshel Morelos, that means you've got to come up and guard him, and that's going to open up that baseline. And Texas A&M has done a nice job to get the ball to Troshel Morelos and let him make a play.
Jones has the last 8 points for A&M and 11 overall. Joseph off to Richardson, not enough room to get the shot off.
But Jones is playing like an athlete. Now, if he wants to play like a shooter, he's not going to be as good. When he plays like an athlete, he's really good.
Richardson, he's a shooter, but that one's too deep.
Yeah, it's just a bad shot.
House rifles one into Jones.
How strong was that? Boy, the bad shot, and then you give up a layup in transition.
What a combination. Daniel House, Jalen Jones, and the Aggies have tied it up. Jones with 13 points already, Jay.
Well, a 6'7" senior from Dallas, Texas. Jalen Jones is athletic. He's explosive. He's a great energy guy that plays with a terrific motor. And he's been the player of the game thus far. 13 points for Texas A&M. And he just played like an athlete in the middle of that zone.
Lydon. Offensive foul. The second on Lydon.
Well, Lydon driving right past Jalen Jones and Troshel Morelos. There wasn't much contact there. I thought he slid it a little bit. That was kind of floppy, honestly. But when the referees fall for it, you're going to flop. And they fell for that one.
So Lydon with 2, Coleman with 2, Benajay with 2. Syracuse not that deep. They're going to have to play through some foul trouble here today. House from the corner. Air ball. Rebound Roberson as A&M got away from what had been making them successful. Cooney's open. Skying for the rebound, Benajay. Richardson, nice pass off to Roberson, and a travel is the call. Well, there are some athletes on both sides. You don't have much time to make a decision in this game.
No question. Thought he lost the ball going up. I think when he lost the ball, the referee is just blocked out from seeing it.
7th turnover committed by Syracuse. Gonzaga defeated Connecticut 73-70 in the 3rd place game. House gives A&M the lead.
Oh, that one was deep, but far more in rhythm than that shot he had in the corner. And that's a tougher shot to run off of if you miss it. Got a switch.
Richardson driving into traffic. Offensive foul. Second charge that Caruso has taken already in this game.
Alex Caruso is coming off a really good game that he had in the semifinals. At 8 points, 5 assists, and 3 steals against Gonzaga. And he's done a great job in this one, having to play so much point guard. When Anthony Collins went to the bench, Collins back in the game now. His size allowed him to see over the top of that zone and deliver the ball to the baseline. And Collins is going to have to get into the gaps.
Hogue from the baseline. Kept alive by Jones, but Benajay's got it.
What a block out by Cooney on Jalen Jones.
Benajay changing direction on a dime. Thought about the 3, now Lydon.
The House was really moving his feet to stay in front. Texas A&M switching everything. Need to slip some of these exchanges.
Cooney wide right, rebound Ho. Another baseline jumper, not there for Jones. Trosha Morelos with a putback.
This went right over the top of Tyler Roberson. Texas A&M is locked down defensively. They haven't given any open shots to Syracuse.
Richardson gets a good look at a three, can't hit it.
A good block out by Trosha Morelos.
House with a shot fake, gets inside, the kick to Hogue, he'll launch it. And it's going to be out of bounds to A&M when we come back. A frustrating several minutes for the Orange. Some fouls, some turnovers, and their lead is gone.
ESPN's exclusive presentation of college basketball is brought to you by Lowe's. Lowe's, never stop improving. And
in Atlantis, UConn and Gonzaga. Furious highlight by the Huskies. Was it enough? And Wichita State suffering a loss and another injury. We'll update you on what's going on there as well. Back to Dan and Jay.
All right, Chris, thank you. 3:23 to go in the first half. 28-23. More of a low-scoring game than we've seen for the most part in this tournament. The Aggies up 5 on the Orange. Syracuse has not scored in 4 minutes and 19 seconds. They're battling some foul trouble as well.
You think when we go back to the studio at halftime, we'll see Jay Will in a waistcoat?
I keep expecting him to pull out a pipe at some point.
Another one of his many vests, as if he raided the closet of Sir John Gielgud.
Gilder and Collins in the backcourt right now for A&M. House rises up for a three. Rebound Richardson. Syracuse overcame a deficit to defeat Connecticut yesterday. Only down 5 right now, but they have been cold at the offensive end. Benajay a miss, Davis the rebound.
Tried to isolate Michael Benajay on Daniel House. Good pass.
Trosha Morelos with good patience. The follow. And out of bounds, it stays with A&M.
Boy, Syracuse was very lucky there because Trosha Morelos was easily able to split that little double in the low post. And that was way too easy. He had a wide open layup and just missed it.
Steal by Roberson, up to Benajay, off to Cooney. Hesitation by Cooney, and he'll lay it in.
Looked like he got hit as he went up. That was a foul. He got away with it.
Snaps about a 5-minute drought. Jim Boeheim saying the same thing that you are right now. Gilder with a floater. It's a 5-point lead again.
Well, I love watching Gilder play. He's a really good player. He led Texas A&M in scoring on a foreign tour that they had this summer, going to Italy and Greece.
Cooney, yep, a travel.
Admon Gilder's a 6'3" freshman from Dallas, Texas, and he just knows how to score. He's talented, he's strong, he's versatile. Shot it very well from 3. He's a good defender. He's just got a presence out on the floor. Even though he's not a tall guy, you know he's out there on both ends of the floor.
We have seen a lot of really good freshmen in this tournament.
How many guys are there named Gilder?
Inconceivable.
Inconceivable. That was the kingdom that kidnapped Princess Buttercup.
We've been waiting all day to do that, folks. You got to indulge us. It's been a long week. Jones with a 3. He's having some kind of a half. He's got 16, and A&M leads by 8.
There's that double high pick. Leiden's got Gilder on him. He needs to touch it.
Richardson, the high arcing 3, the answer for the Orange.
So many different guys that can shoot it. Right now, Richardson, Leiden, Benajay, Cooney, all of them 3-point shooters. You can really stretch the floor.
Orange fans to their feet. 5-point game. Davis asking for it. He gets it. Bounce pass through traffic, and it's turned over.
Just take it up. Tyler Davis had the ball. He had single coverage. Just go to the basket. He's too strong to be dishing the ball off.
Final minute of the first half, and momentum seeming to shift in direction of Syracuse in the last couple of minutes, although they still trail. Roberson will take the 17-footer, not there, and nobody underneath.
Not sure that's his shot. Might have been a shot fake and drive.
Davis with the catch, the split, and the finish.
And that's what Tyler Davis needs to do. Take the ball to the rim and make somebody stop you.
Back to 7. 3-second difference between the game clock and the shot clock.
Benajay can afford to take it all the way down essentially to 0 and still have an opportunity for a stick back and not give A&M the opportunity to take it the other way.
Ball is loose and it's out of bounds still with Syracuse, and Cooney seemed to know that. He looked like he could have dove for the ball, which we've seen him do a million times, but he let it go and the decision paid off. 5 on the shot clock, 8.1 on the game clock. Deep one, Benajay. Got it! And now a turnover and a foul!
What a job by Trevor Cooney. Cooney caused that turnover by not allowing the ball inbounds, and they had to go long with it.
And that's 3 free throws. You want to talk about a swing, Jay, at the end of the half.
Well, the referees must have thought he was going into his shooting motion when he was fouled. What a turn of events that is.
Had they not ruled that it was in the act of shooting, there would have been no free throws because A&M is under the limit. That was just the 4th team foul, but Benajay made it look like he was going up for a shot as soon as he caught the ball. A very heady play by Benajay.
Trevor Cooney did such a good job. I don't know about that one. He went up after he was hit. I don't like that. Yeah, that's tough. But you know what? He shouldn't have fouled him.
Yeah.
You know, you put yourself in a bad spot to get a bad call like that when you foul. I mean, what a job by Cooney though to make him throw long.
College basketball this coming Tuesday on ESPN. It's time for the Big Ten ACC Challenge presented by the United States Marine Corps. And what a doubleheader for you Tuesday night. Virginia and Ohio State at 7:30 Eastern Time. And then Maryland, North Carolina. Feels like an ACC game, but it's actually a Big Ten ACC game. The Terps traveling back to Chapel Hill. So because the foul is in the act of shooting, it's already cost A&M 2 points. Benajay still with 1 more free throw to go.
Essentially a 6-point possession, 5 points.
5 points in the last few seconds of the first half for Syracuse. Doug Sermons with an explanation for Billy Kennedy. Billy Kennedy unlikely to agree with anything that he hears.
He can explain it all he wants to. The call's going to stand.
So just a 2-point lead for A&M at halftime. Andy Katz has Coach Kennedy.
We'll turn around here. All right, thank you, Dan. Obviously, you were just talking to the officials. Momentum was on your side. What are you going to tell your team about the way they handled that last 5 seconds?
Well, number one, he made a tough shot. The 3-point shot was tough. We got to be a little bit up on him. I wasn't happy with the call, obviously, but next play, we're moving on. So,
how were you guys able to control so much of that latter part of the first half before the last 5 seconds?
Well, we started getting the ball inside. You know, we got to get post touches and not, we haven't shot the ball like we're capable of. I know we'll shoot it better this half.
Appreciate it, Billy.
All right, thank you.
Back to you, Dan.
All right, Andy, thank you. Good first half. 20 more minutes to come to settle the championship here at the Battle for Atlantis. Time now for the Jeep Halftime Report. Back to the studio again with Chris, J. Will, and Seth. Game of runs here in the first half of the championship game at the Battle for Atlantis here on Paradise Island. We go to the second half with Texas A&M leading Syracuse by 2, 35-33. As we take a look at the first half stats brought to you by the Paradise Island Tourism Development Association. The one that jumps out at you, obviously, the big game from Jalen Jones. He was everywhere on the baseline against that Syracuse zone, Jay.
Well, Jalen Jones is such a great athlete, just a few games back from that odd NCAA suspension for 4 games, and this is by far his best performance. 16 points in that first half, 7 of 9 from the field. knocked down a perimeter jumper as well. The rest of his team, 19 points on 8 of 26. But this is such a good passing team, Texas A&M. They've got 11 assists in that first half on their 15 field goals. And they need to continue to pass it that way without turning it over. They only turned it over 5 times. Didn't let Syracuse get out in transition where the Orange are especially dangerous.
Can Syracuse adjust to prevent Jones from having those easy chances he had?
Yeah, but it's difficult because I think with this team, they are not as strong inside as they've been in the past. And this is a very good passing team. They're getting the ball into the middle, but I think they've got to be a little bit more active up top to try to discourage those passes from getting in there.
Let's go to Andy Katz for more.
And exactly to Jay's point, Mike Hopkins, the associate head coach, told me that was the red flag, allowing Jalen Jones to get too active inside, scoring those 16 points. That's something they necessarily didn't expect. That's what they have to close up here in the second half. That's what he told me.
Freshman Malachi Richardson with a corner 3, the 6th lead change of the game. Syracuse by 1.
And the 7th three-point field goal made by Syracuse. They are a three-point reliant team.
And now a turnover as Davis's pass goes awry. Back comes Cooney. Cooney for 3. Davis and Coleman battle for the rebound. 2 big bodies hitting the deck. Held ball, and it's going to go back over to A&M.
Those are 2 big guys going after the ball there, and neither one of them want to let go. Oof.
Coleman is 6'9", 270. Davis is 6'10", 265. Caruso with a look. Coleman the rebound.
Boy, good rebound by Coleman.
Denijay played several minutes in the first half with 2 fouls, avoided that third. Coleman lost the ball, and a Syracuse turnover.
I'm not sure that's the best decision by Michael Denijay. He used Coleman as a screener up top, and when Coleman was rolling to the basket, he tried to deliver a little bounce pass. That's an awfully difficult pass for Coleman to catch.
Jim Boeheim, you saw a shot of him. He is coaching in these games. The 9-game suspension is for the first 9 games of the ACC season of league play, and that is being appealed. And Coach Boeheim told us a couple of days ago he expects to hear by the 1st of December. So that's coming up fast right now. But at this point,
they should hear by the first ACC game.
so he is here. You can see associate head coach and head coach designate Mike Hopkins, and he would coach in the absence of Boeheim. And now Tyler Davis has gone to the bench, has some blood on his hand, it looks like. So they are tending to that.
One of the really odd things about the suspension, whether you agree with the severity of the sanctions or not, whether it's Larry Brown at SMU or Jim Boeheim at Syracuse, while they're suspended from coaching in games, they're not allowed in the office, they're not allowed to communicate with their staff, and they're not allowed to communicate with their players. And that just strikes, I think, any reasonable person as very odd and not intended by the rules. I mean, why would you say on one hand the coaches are responsible for everything and then say we're not going to let you be responsible for the period of a month, but if anything happens, you're responsible for it? That doesn't make any sense. And I've not talked to any NCAA administrator at a member institution that has said they think that's good.
Well, and I've heard when Jim Boeheim talks about this, I've heard him talk more about exactly what you just said, about the inability to communicate more than just, I don't agree with the number of games I'm suspended for.
That's totally separate from that part of it. The fact that, I mean, clearly Syracuse didn't agree with the severity of the penalties. They didn't agree with the conclusions that were made by the Committee on Infractions. But just getting to the punishment itself, it strikes you as being totally unreasonable. He can't talk to anybody.
And the school did have some of the other penalties reduced, including, instead of 3 scholarships reduced for the next 4 years, it's down to 2 for each of the next 4 years. An A&M turnover. Syracuse in transition. Cooney for 3. And a foul against Coleman. That will be his 3rd.
Not a smart move by Dajuan Coleman. But Texas A&M's going to have to do a better job of attacking the zone. They just threw the ball around the perimeter instead of getting into the gaps of the zone. And right now you got Elijah Thomas in the game along the baseline. Trocha Morelos will be trying to flash into the middle where he can make a play.
Thomas cross court for Collins. Collins doesn't shoot the three often, but he's made a very good percentage so far this year. House will shoot it and hit it.
He rises up high to get that shot off. He's got a high release, and what an athletic shooter he is.
He's been as good as any player in this tournament.
No question.
Richardson, foul before the shot, foul underneath going against Thomas, it looks like. And it is.
Daniel House prepares to go up for a shot. He gets some height up there. I mean, that's Tyler Roberson getting a hand up, and that's nowhere near enough, and he did a pretty darn good job.
Roberson has it taken away by Caruso. And then Roberson will foul him. The Texas A&M bench wants what used to be called an intentional, but they're looking for what's now called a flagrant one, which would be 2 in the ball, saying that Roberson didn't make a play on the ball.
Well, he fouled on purpose.
Right.
There's no question that it was intentional in nature, but they don't look toward intentional anymore. But see, he grabbed him, and look, the foul by Benajay in the first half was a good one because he at least made an attempt on the ball, but Roberson went and grabbed the right arm of Caruso, and the referees just missed it.
Now Billy Kennedy talking to one of the officials about it right now. Maybe a break for the Orange.
Well, they got a break at the end of the first half,
Yep,
and they got another one there.
House. Tipped away by Richardson. Got Benajay with him. Oh, and a huge collision between Benajay and Richardson and Collins. Richardson seems the most upset, and a great job by Cooney to get him out of there.
And a great job by the officials, too.
Yeah. Syracuse fans not happy with the severity of that contact. I think it's just been called a common foul.
No, I think they
called
it.
Did they call a flagrant?
I think they called a flagrant.
Collins actually hit the ball, but he had already gone literally onto the back of Richardson.
That looked a lot worse. I mean, I don't know if they can go. I would go look at that. I mean, it looked severe, but he went up to go get the ball. Just went up early. I think because of the severity, you have to call that. Because somebody could have gotten really injured, but he took off too early before Richardson ever did. It didn't look like Collins was going to lay him out or anything.
No. I mean, he had the right arm extended to try to block the shot.
Yeah, it looked like he just mistimed it.
Yeah.
And Richardson never really kind of left the floor.
And Richardson hits the floor hard, and then in the aftermath, the foot of Collins right there makes some contact up near Richardson's head too. But I think you're right. Live, it looked severe, quite severe.
Yeah, you can't fault the flagrant call there. I don't have any issue with that.
So the game is tied, and Syracuse retains possession.
Syracuse has to start slipping some of these exchanges because Texas A&M is switching everything.
Leiden is checked in for Roberson. Benajay with a drive. Loose ball to the Aggies. And now it's going to be Trocha Morelos or Thomas, one of the big guys. It's Thomas. He's using a little bit too much force to try to establish position down low.
Yeah, that's a couple fouls Thomas has picked up, just being overly aggressive. They have to show poise at this stage of the game. These fouls not only add up a little bit, I don't think they have to worry too much about that, but you don't want to take the ball out of your hands when you have an advantage situation.
Richardson the drive this time, and he is fouled again, and it will be Thomas again.
Thomas just didn't move his feet there. If you're not in a position to take a charge, go up and try to influence the play. Like, he's just not in position to do that. He's too big for that. Just go up and try to block or challenge the shot.
And the reason Thomas is in the game is because of that cut on the hand of Davis, who's now being walked back to the A&M locker room to get some more bandages, evidently. So they don't have the use of their number one big guy in Davis. Collins will come out, Thomas will come out, and Jones and Hogue will come in.
A much better offensive lineup in the ball game right now for Texas A&M.
And Richardson back at the free throw line. The most amazing thing of that other play is that neither Richardson nor Collins were hurt.
Exactly. Very fortunate in a collision like that everybody was okay and got up easily.
2-point lead, Syracuse, in a spirited affair here in the Bahamas.
Texas A&M has been getting the ball in the middle off the pass. Well done.
And Caruso with a great look, can't hit the three, but it comes down to Trocha Morelos. And it'll be Syracuse ball. A missed opportunity there for the Aggies.
Well, the tendency is to hang your head a little bit. You had a wide open shot, missed it. Wide open offensive rebound, put back, and Trocha Morelos missed it. But Texas A&M's getting opportunities. You just have to keep plugging.
4 minutes into the second half. Syracuse by 2. Richardson over Hogue. Short.
Not the shot. Not the shot.
The size of this lineup for A&M. 6'5", 6'7" in the backcourt. 6'7", 6'8", 6'10" up front. Trocha Morelos over the back, called for a foul. A timeout on the floor. And a play you're going to see tonight on SportsCenter. Collins, the flagrant, trying to block the shot on Richardson. Fortunately, both players okay. Into which Tyler Davis competed as he and Dajuan Coleman went after it and slamming to the floor both players. And this is when the thumb injury to Davis happened, and he has been bleeding quite a bit. They took him back to the locker room. He has yet to return to the game. Andy, what's the latest?
Well, you know, there's not a lot of light behind the stands here, and actually they were right behind there. There was a security guard just flashing a flashlight to try to give them a little bit more light because they couldn't control the bleeding on that left thumb. Finally, they gave up and they went to that back ballroom, and they were trying to control it to try to make sure they could bandage it tight enough to get him back on the court.
And remember, as you saw that shot, the replay when he's getting the thumb bandage, he kind of did like a stretch. Remember, his back was bothering him in the first half a little bit as he came out briefly. So A&M right now without the services of Davis, and a backup big man, Elijah Thomas, is on the bench with 3 fouls.
Just a bit of an unusual call there. Trevor Cooney stepped out of bounds when he was coming off a cut. And when you voluntarily step out of bounds, you can't be the first guy to touch the ball when you get back in. And you don't see that call very often, but correctly called by the officials.
Jones on the inside of the zone again. The reverse two-handed shovel shot off the glass.
He has been Texas A&M's best offense. Get the ball to Jones in the middle of that zone. Let him make a play.
He's got 18 of their 40. And now contact between Jones and Lydon. Jones called for the foul.
Yeah, Jones wasn't letting Lydon get out to set that screen. He just stays so low and then attacks once he catches it. And such an explosive athlete. He's so dangerous in there.
Well, you talked about how when he's an athlete instead of a shooter, how much better he is. This, if they sit down and watch film of this game, that's exhibit number 1.
Yeah, and then he makes shots on top of it. You know, when he plays like an athlete, then he can add a jump shot in instead of being a jump shooter that adds once in a while being an athlete.
Benajay thought Cooney was going to zig, but he zagged, and the Syracuse turnover will give it back to the Aggies.
You know, the funny part about a player like Jalen Jones, he's got people telling him, you got to prove the NBA you can shoot it. And meanwhile, there are a bunch of NBA scouts that weren't paying attention to him, watching him shoot yesterday. They're going, hey, this kid's pretty good. Look at him now. Doing the things he's doing now, he can be of real value to an NBA team.
Jones on the baseline, kicks it back out. Still plenty of time on the shot clock. House for 3. And is it?
It's on Roberson. He was over the top of Jones. It's just he pointed. The
point was the wrong way, right?
Way.
Okay, yeah, that confused me too. Roberson over the top of Jones. We have seen a number of over the back or over the top fouls on rebounding situations here in this tournament. Jones from the baseline. Doesn't get the bounce. Trosha Morelos with a foul.
Jim Boeheim's going to be very upset with Malachi Richardson. Tell him, why are you a spectator in there? He's just a freshman, and Trosha Morelos just went right over the top of him.
Benajay to the baseline, off the glass, no good. Caruso with a good block out on Leiden, and saved it to Trosha Morelos.
Anyway, Jalen Jones did a terrific job of angling out the driver there without fouling. And it turned out to be a great play.
House thought about it, and now they'll reset. Over the top, Trosha Morelos. Got it again.
Jalen Jones kept it alive. Trosha Morelos, who hasn't finished a lot of plays around the basket, got a second chance because of Jones' activity.
And Jim Boeheim has sent Dajuan Coleman to the scorer's table to check in to help protect the defensive glass. Cooney a miss. Leiden a save. Richardson the drive, wave off the basket. It is a block. The call is going against A&M, but the ruling is it was before the shot attempt.
Well, he was inside of the charge circle, the restricted arc. Got a foot on it right there. So that makes the call a heck of a lot easier.
And it's the 7th team foul on A&M, so it's a bonus situation now for Richardson. Richardson. Now, wait a minute. Did they count the basket? I was sure Doug Sermons waved it off and pointed to the floor. But evidently they counted that basket because Richardson made one free throw, and that's it. So that's a three-point play. Meanwhile, Tyler Davis has come back into the game for Texas A&M. My mistake there. I thought it was ruled before the shot. Oh. Davis right back into the thick of things.
Comes right back in, gets an offensive rebound. He probably could have gone straight back up with it instead of turning back into the defense, but he's so strong he was able to pull it off anyway.
Coleman the screen for Richardson. He gets the switch. Low pass at the feet of Leiden. Richardson for three. Rebound Davis.
It's not a good shot. So Syracuse got to start taking better advantage of some of these switches and start creating some of these mismatches and go at it. Having House up top, you've really got to extend to get to him. Nice deflection.
Benajay the deflection, Leiden the steal. Cooney on the break. Benajay for three. Tied at 46.
How about the way that Cooney and Benajay create for each other?
Davis through traffic draws the foul.
When Syracuse gets a turnover, they are extremely dangerous. And Cooney takes it in, draws the defender, and Michael Benajay knocks it down.
Cats, I'm Dan Schulman, and this is a good one. 46-46, A&M and Syracuse. They both survived with narrow victories in the semifinals yesterday. Then Gonzaga beat UConn by 3 in the third-place game. So the last 4 games we've had, a 1-point game, a 3-point game, a 3-point game, and now a tie game here in the championship.
And this looks like it's headed down to the wire. There's a long way to go. Just under 12 minutes. But with Tyler Davis back and available for Texas A&M, that puts a big body inside and along the baseline and opens up some space for Jalen Jones to operate in the middle. And then you've got shooters, Admon Gilder, DJ Hogue on the perimeter.
One of 2 for Davis. 10th lead change of the game.
1-2-2, 3-quarter court pressure.
Cooney off a screen. Got his man in the air, tried to thread the needle, knocked out of bounds. It should stay with the orange here, and it will with 14 on the shot clock.
Boy, what a play by Anthony Collins to knock that little pocket pass away.
inside 10 to shoot. Wide in the drive, had it knocked away. And again, it will stay at this end of the floor, but the shot clock down to 6. Richardson looking for Cooney. And he'll have to use a timeout. He couldn't get the ball in. 11:32 left in the second half. Texas A&M leading Syracuse by 1.
Breaking down film the whole time, you know, Dan.
A&M, they got themselves a good team. Jace talked about it. They're going to be a handful in the SEC this year. They've got a 1-point lead on Syracuse right now in the championship game. From behind the backboard, Benajay hits the side of the backboard. Gilder one-on-one with Cooney. And a foul on Cooney, and 2 free throws coming for Gilder.
Everybody along the baseline, that allowed the run out for Texas A&M. And Syracuse really sticking in this game from the 3-point line. They've made 8 of 19 from 3. They're only shooting 36% as a team on the game overall.
Gilder averaging better than 9 points per game for the Aggies through the first 6 games of his freshman season.
Well, he is quite a spark plug off the bench.
Leiden just fought that one out of the hands of Jones and got it to Richardson.
Leiden being guarded by Jones. They can free him up for an open shot. When he's open, he doesn't miss.
You know, we talked about how low Collins is when he has the ball. He's equally as low when he doesn't. When he's guarding Cooney, when he's trailing him around screens. Coleman knocks it down. Tie game.
Davis tried to take a charge on Richardson. But he has been strong driving to the basket.
Gilder blocked off by Benajay. Still plenty of time on the shot clock. Now down to 5. It'll be Hogue with a 3. Yes!
You can see that effortless shooting motion from DJ Hogue. He has got range and then some.
And at 6'8", too, he can get that shot off anytime he wants to.
Tough to bother him.
Again, Collins running miles, chasing Cooney all over the place. Benajay on the far side. As we pass the midway point of the second half, Leiden is wide open. And from the 3 games we've seen, that is his spot. Kind of left wing above the arc for 3.
Anywhere that guy's open, I like it as his spot. He can really shoot it.
So they trade threes, and it's tied again. Hogue is open in the corner. Tip no good. Out of bounds to Syracuse.
Texas A&M has done a nice job on the offensive glass in this ball game. But look how Hogue is ready to shoot, even with Leiden running at him and putting up those long arms. And when Leiden gets his feet set and has an opening, I mean, he does not miss. Those are 2 outstanding freshman shooters.
One of the positions you hear people talk about a lot these days, this wasn't an expression you heard 15 years ago, but a stretch 4. Tyler Leiden is a stretch 4 as Benajay draws the foul. Leiden's having to play some 5 for the Orange, but at 6'8", 210, his ability to block shots, his ability to hit the 3, the future is bright.
People talk a lot about spacing, and rightfully so, but spacing doesn't really matter if you can't shoot it. You got to be able to stretch the defense, and Tyler Leiden can stretch the defense.
Benajay puts the Orange back on top.
He's way more than a shooter. He's a shot blocker, rebounder. He's got a complete game.
Subs for Billy Kennedy. He's got Davis, who just got the rebound. Trosha Morelos, Gilder, Collins, and House. This is House. What a foul.
Always in transition. Collins is looking to switch sides of the floor.
Coleman banging inside. Davis wins this battle, and a nice outlet to Gilder. Banachet doesn't want to pick up another foul.
Gilder used his body so effectively there to shield off his left hand and be able to put that off the glass.
A&M by 3. Richardson got a chance to tie it.
Well, how many times is Texas A&M going to let Malachi Richardson drive to his right? That's at least 3 times he's caught the ball in that spot and just driven right into the middle of the lane and either scored or gotten fouled, or both.
Richardson came in averaging better than 13. He's got a team-high 15 already in this game, and make it 16 as we have yet another tie.
Well, how fun is Syracuse to watch? Overload on the right side.
Shot clock at 10. Off the knee of Cooney, out of bounds, and they'll reset it to 14.
Like
15, excuse me.
Looked like Texas A&M was running their zone motion. They're primarily a motion offense team. They run a number of different sets and have some different actions that they run. What a good passing team this is.
House. Josha Morelos with 3 opportunities. Davis in there as well, but they come up empty.
Well, Josha Morelos has missed a ton of close-in shots.
Spinning Banachet, and he draws the foul. The 10th team foul on A&M. And free throws coming for Michael Banachet when we come back.
Anthony Collins switching sides of the floor in transition and lobbing it up to Daniel House. And Tyler Davis, the freshman, likes it. He should.
ESPN's exclusive presentation of college basketball is brought to you by Atlantis Paradise Island, Bahamas. Always amazing. NASA Paradise Island. It's better in the Bahamas. And the Acura Oh What Fun It Is to Drive event.
And Chris, one of a number of outstanding freshmen that Kentucky has. They've got Tyler Ulis, a sophomore, one of the best point guards in the country. And then Labissiere, Murray, and Briscoe, 3 very talented freshmen.
I don't know who's got 3 guards that can stay in front of Ulis, Murray, and Briscoe. You may have 2, you may have 1. I don't know anybody who's got 3. Those guys are dynamic off the dribble.
Banachet at the line has just given Syracuse the lead. We've had 7 ties and 11 lead changes in this game. Syracuse by 2.
Texas A&M has got to finish some plays around the basket. They have done a really good job on the offensive glass, but they're not capitalizing and converting on those opportunities.
Gilder thought about it, down to Jones in the corner. Long cross-court pass to House.
Anytime you put it on the baseline, you're going to get trapped. So if you put it down there, you better have a quick pass or quick shot.
Jones misses the turnaround jumper, got it back, and drew the foul. Jalen Jones today, 18 points. That foul went on Dajuan Coleman. It's his 4th. And Jim Boeheim will take Coleman out of the game. Tyler Roberson coming back in. Alex Caruso takes the spot of Anthony Collins for the Aggies.
Roberson, the rebounder. Syracuse becomes thinner in the back of that zone. Tyler Lydon will take the middle. And you've got the bulk of Texas A&M, especially with Tyler Davis, to occupy the baseline. That makes Jones able to operate in the middle of that zone, and he could be really dangerous.
And now maybe does Lydon have a cut? Something he's got to clean off his leg. He's maybe some blood down there, and they're going to try to clean that up quickly enough to keep him in the game. Over the back against House.
Aggressive but not smart. You let Syracuse walk 94 feet and be able to shoot 2 free throws and no defense.
Double bonus the rest of the way for Syracuse. Bonus on the next foul for A&M. Lyden knocks down his first attempt from the line today.
Well, that's one of the benefits of Syracuse playing that active zone defense, where they are not often putting their opponents at the free throw line for common fouls. They just don't foul very much. And that defense encourages a lot of jump shots. You don't put yourself in a position to foul that often with those.
A lot of Syracuse fans here in the Bahamas, and they're making themselves heard right now.
Jones was open along the baseline.
House with a 3 to tie the game. What a week he's had.
He may be one of the 4 or 5 most underrated players in the country.
Inside, Roberson from Lyden.
A great pass by Tyler Lyden and made himself available to Benajay. Got to know where House is. He can really stretch it. Starting him up top.
House in the corner now. Gilder cut off by Benajay.
Good movement by Texas A&M.
Great no-look bounce pass from Caruso to Jones.
With the side-to-side movement, especially the player movement, it's hard to keep assignments, especially for some of the younger players out on the floor. And Tyler Lyden just lost Jones along the baseline.
Richardson, he's been planted on that left side all week as Jason loves driving to his right. Now he finds Roberson. Benajay with a deep 3, and it's good. What a game.
Benajay is just an outstanding basketball player. Isn't he fun to watch?
Does so many different things. Shooting's gotten so much better over the last couple of years.
Everything's gotten better.
Caruso whips a pass to Gilder in the corner. Rebound Lyden. Benajay asking Lyden for a screen. There it is. Benajay trying to turn the corner. The kick to Cooney. Cooney behind the back. Offensive foul. Second foul on Trevor Cooney.
Just another great play by Alex Caruso. He is an outstanding defender. Just outstanding. As legal guarding position moves his feet, those are the kind of charges you value in the game. That's just great defense.
So A&M has the ball back, down by 3.
With some of the movement, they've gotten Jalen Jones along the baseline. And Tyler Davis doing a really good job of occupying the middle.
Davis inside. Jones gathers and finishes.
What a pass. First Caruso to Davis, then the touch pass Davis to Jones. That was beautiful.
Jones is probably hoping everybody plays zone against A&M this year.
He can do this kind of stuff against man-to-man. Just needs to put his mind to it. He's a terrific player.
He's got 23. Benajay the kick to Lyden. Shot clock at 5. Lyden gets it off and gets the roll.
He is a player. I don't think Tyler Lyden has any idea how good he is.
Miscommunication between Caruso and Hogue, and a turnover. So Syracuse with the ball in a 4-point lead as we wind our way into the final 4 minutes here of the championship game. Benajay to Roberson. Richardson for three. Long rebound to Cooney. And a foul. Cooney got bumped and will be at the free throw line when we come back.
Texas A&M went with the zone look to give Syracuse something different. And it almost worked out well from Syracuse. What a fabulous pass by Caruso to Jalen Jones, who's dominated along that baseline. And Michael Benajay has been magnificent all tournament long, as has Tyler Lydon. Look at this one. Shot fake, up and under. That is the shooter's bounce. You know you can shoot it when you get that, and he can shoot it.
All right, Chris, thank you. We got a good one here out in front of that Kentucky game against USF. 67-63. The Orange leading the Aggies, 3:39 to go. And Trevor Cooney at the line for Syracuse. Cooney played 36 minutes on Wednesday, 39 minutes yesterday. And he has not come out of the game today.
Yeah, 36 minutes in the opener, that's like a vacation. It's like a day off.
I hope he didn't punch in on that day. Benajay plays a ton of minutes, and Cooney plays more than Benajay does. A tip and a steal by Cooney.
Could be Syracuse ball.
And Michael Stevens says it is.
Cooney is so good at the top of that zone, so active. You know, he averaged close to 2 steals a game as a freshman, then again as a sophomore. Really one of the best steals guys that Syracuse has ever had.
He's got 3 today.
Anticipates. That guy's got a relentless motor. He never seems to get tired.
Cooney bumping with Caruso. Count the basket. Now 2 officials are looking at each other like they might have a different call. It is a block. The basket is good.
Yeah, Jalen Jones was sliding underneath. It wasn't Trocha Morelos. He got it totally out of the way. Well, we've talked about it. Trevor Cooney is so much more than a shooter. We were just talking about his defense, but he's an athletic driver, finisher. He's really got a complete game.
4th foul on Jones. Regardless of how this finishes, whether Syracuse wins or loses, Jay, does this make you reevaluate them at all? I mean, preseason, a lot of people thought kind of middle of the pack, ACC, not sure. Is this team a lot better than maybe we thought?
They're a lot better than I thought, yeah. They can really shoot it. Now, that doesn't mean they're going to make 10, 11 threes a game. You know, Jim Boeheim is the first to admit if we're not hitting shots, there aren't a whole lot of teams we're going to beat. I think he's probably overstating that a bit, but this team's really good. They're athletic. Man, they're fun. They're fun to watch.
Coming up shortly over on ESPN2, Tom Izzo goes for win number 501 as Michigan State takes on Boise State. The second semifinal at the DirecTV Wooden Legacy tonight. Providence in Arizona with a championship game Sunday night.
You get a Rolex watch from Draymond Green for your 500th. What do you get for 501?
The damage on Tyler Davis, who's had a physical day. Looking on from the A&M bench. It's a 7-point lead for Syracuse with less than 3 minutes to go.
Texas A&M has got to get some stops.
Lydon finds Cooney. Such a luxury to have 2 fifth-year guards starting in Cooney and Benajay. Not this time for Cooney. Benajay taps it back out.
And Jim Boeheim going into his clock mode. They're going to use the clock and then clear out. They went to a 1-4 for Cooney. Maybe they'll do it for Benajay this time.
And remember, there's no more 5-second call on a dribble, so you can waste as much time as you want. Doesn't matter if you're closely guarded.
Yeah, but a good guard can get away from closely guarded anyway. I think. I mean, you know, I don't think closely guarded is going to bother Benajay or Cooney.
Shot clock at 5. Benajay the drive. Wave off the basket. Benajay called for the offensive foul. instead of a highlight reel play for the Orange, it's a charge, no basket, and A&M ball. And they need a score.
Don't have to have a three if it'd be nice, but you can't waste a whole lot of time. You got to attack.
House a step back three, not good, not there. Tipped back out, but into the hands of Gilder. Collins the drive through the legs of Trosha Morelos. It belongs to Syracuse.
And that's another one of the great selling points about Jim Boeheim's zone is late in the game when you got to get quick scores. It is hard to do against the Syracuse zone.
Timeout Billy Kennedy. Syracuse fans on their feet. A 7-point lead for the Orange, and again for the third day in a row, Jay, the Orange are knocking down their threes.
This is an outstanding shooting team. 4 different guys, Benajay, Cooney, Leiden, Richardson, can all stretch the defense. They can knock those shots down. That opens up driving lanes, and it's not just in the half court. They will pull the trigger on a three in transition. You turn it over, and you're scrambling back to protect the paint, and you're giving up a step-in three, and they hit them at a high rate. The 34 threes in 3 days, and shooting right around, they're just under 50% on the tournament from three-point range. That's a really high effective field goal percentage.
Leiden has hit all 3 of his threes today and 10 of his 17 threes on the season.
Yeah, I think he's going to make it.
He's got a chance. Cooney, long look ahead to Richardson, and now Jim Boeheim will likely preach patience.
I think he might be able to go one more possession, and then Billy Kennedy's going to have to think about fouling. If they don't get a stop here, that's it.
Benajay to Leiden. Leiden to Roberson. Tipped out of bounds. Syracuse ball, 2 on the shot clock.
Got to watch Benajay and Cooney coming off these screens, and then you can also slip it to the basket.
Cooney got it off, but it's a shot clock violation on the air ball. 1:06 left. A&M ball down 7. Now, Syracuse came into this tournament. They beat Charlotte 83-70 in the first game. They beat UConn. They had to overcome a big deficit to beat UConn in the semis yesterday. And now they're just over a minute away from a championship here in Atlantis.
A&M's got to get going. They don't have the time to mess around. Got to be a quick hitter.
Jones rolls off the rim. Rebound Leiden.
You got to foul. You have to foul.
And they finally do. All you have to do is look at the fans behind the Syracuse bench to know what they think the outcome is going to be.
When we got here to the Atlantis for this tournament, what's the first thing that Jim Boeheim said?
If we don't knock down shots, we can't beat anybody.
If we make shots, we can beat somebody. If we don't make shots, we can't beat anybody. Anybody. Well, they can beat somebody. Yeah. Holy cow.
They are on the verge of beating everybody that was on their schedule here this week. They're up 9.
What a performance by Syracuse.
Yep. House, no. Leiden, another rebound.
And you could pick 3 guys from Syracuse to be MVP of this tournament and not be wrong.
You're thinking Benajay, Cooney, and Leiden?
I'm thinking Benajay. I'd give it to Benajay.
I would too.
I'll tell you what, Leiden makes a pretty darn good case.
He does. You got to be on the all-tournament team, that's for sure. There were 3 ranked teams coming into this tournament in the field. Syracuse was not one of them. Gonzaga, Connecticut, Texas A&M, but it's Syracuse that is going to emerge as the champion.
I'll tell you what, Syracuse has showed a lot, not only to the country, but I'm sure to themselves a little bit. But I've also been really impressed with Texas A&M. That's one good basketball team there.
We saw a few good basketball teams here this week. Obviously, Gonzaga is going to be a national contender. Connecticut is going to be a very good team. Terrific field and a great 3 days of basketball. Michael Banniger, the player of the game, brought to you by Coke Zero with 20 points. The Hogue basket will count. The final score, Syracuse 74, Texas A&M 67. The Orange come down to the Bahamas, and they head back to Central New York with a championship. Cooney, Banniger, Leiden, and company made quite a statement down here against a loaded field. A terrific 3 days for Syracuse as they go to 6-0 on the season, beating Charlotte, Connecticut, and A&M to win the title. Banniger leading the way with 20, Richardson with 16, Syracuse over A&M to win the title. For Jay Billis, Andy Katz, and our crew, I'm Dan Schulman saying thanks for watching. Next is College Basketball Live Scoreboard.